بسم الله أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. We'll continue inshallah with the book علامات الساعة, the signs of the day of judgment. And last time we spoke about the Khawarij and we spoke about the fairy liars who are going to claim prophethood after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today inshallah number 12, and we're following, is it the okay, so we're going to continue inshallah with the order of the book 12. So this is number 12 today. شيوع الأمن والرخاء. Subhanallah, this is a very surprising sign. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, spread of security and prosperity. When you have, this is a little weird to a lot of people. How is that? Why is it a sign? At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, with all the hardship and the struggle and the roads were not safe for people to travel, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا تقوم الساعة, that the last hour will not come, حتى تعود أرض العرب مروجا وأنهارا, till the land of the Arabs go back to being meadows and rivers. وحتى يسير الراكب بين العراق ومكة, and a person will be a traveler, will travel between Iraq and Mecca, fearing none إلا ضلال الطريق, that the person will be traveling between Mecca, Iraq and Mecca, fearing nothing but losing the way and direction. وحتى يكثر الهرج, and until a great deal of harj. They said, what is harj, Ya Rasulullah? He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam responded, he said, harj is killing. We'll speak about that in a second. Also there's a hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told Adi ibn Hatim radiyallahu anhu. And Adi ibn Hatim has a beautiful story when he became Muslim, subhanallah. Anyone is familiar with the name? No. Hatim al-Ta'i in the Arab time, his father is known to be the most generous among the Arabs. That if you want to describe generosity, you would just say Hatim al-Ta'i, to a point that his famous story, he slaughtered his horse for his guests. That's how generous he was. So his son, subhanallah, actually, his son ran away from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then his grandmother came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she interceded for him. And she came to the Prophet ﷺ and she said, he's my only support in this life, and now he's running away from you, he's afraid of you. So Adi ibn Hatim came to Rasulullah ﷺ and he said, listen to this, he said, Wallahi, دخلت على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وليس في تصوري إلا أنه نبي أو ملك. When I came to visit him, I knew that he is one of two. Either he is a king or a prophet. Why? Because these are the two respected, honorable people of the time. Either you're a prophet or you're a king. No, he heard so much of Rasulullah that he said he cannot be other than one of the two. So I want to see who he is, really. So he said, when I came in, he got up, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took his garment off and he placed it for me to sit on it. فَقُلْتُ وَاللَّهِ مَا هَذَا بِمَلِكٍ. I said, this cannot be a king. A king would not share his chair with someone. Have you ever visited someone in his office? You guys, no, you go, mashallah, you guys are all religious. the ruling of visiting the hukam in their offices is not allowed. For scholars, you never visited someone in their office? Authority. No? MashaAllah. Okay. I did. If you go visit a mayor or a governor or a president, they will not get up from their chair and say, oh, you come and sit here, and he'll sit on the ground, for example. But Rasulullah did that. Not only that, he took his garment off and he placed it for him to sit because he didn't want him to sit on the ground. So he said, this person cannot be a king. Still, there's no sign of him being a prophet, but he's too humble to be a king. Then he said, he took my hands and he said, let's walk. So we walked. While we were walking, he met an elder woman with her child standing in the streets. She said, I want to talk to you. To Adi ibn Hatim, the first picture that comes to his mind is if you want to talk to the Prophet, or you want to talk to someone who's, mashallah, well respected, people are coming to, this person is a leader of a country. If you want to speak to him, you have to do what? Thank you. Everybody's asleep today. What's going on? You need to make an appointment. That's it. Simple. But she said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to speak to you. So he said, please give me permission to talk to her. So Adi ibn Hatim said, you're asking me for, of course, go ahead. قال فنزل لها. He went down to listen to her. فقلت والله ما هذا بملك. This cannot be a king. There is no way. He's too humble. فقال, then he said, يا عدي إنما لعل ما يمنعك من الإسلام ما ترى حال أهله. Maybe what's keeping you away from Islam is the situation of the Muslims today. They're poor, they're oppressed. Wallahi ya Adi, you will see gold and silver in their hands. If you live long, you will see gold and silver in their hands that they would not know how to spend it or where to spend it. Wallahi ya Adi, هل رأيت الحيرة? He said, have you ever seen Al-Hira? It's a city. Anybody know where is it? We have a person from there, and he should be the first one to, huh? Iraq. Al-Hira is how long from Kufa? About, 1 hour away? 3 أميال مثلا? أكثر? Okay. So we have an expert. So he said, Ya Adi, have you ever seen Al-Hira? فقال لا يا رسول الله. He said, لا يا رسول الله, I have never been there. He said, فإن طالت بك حياة. If you were to live long, يعني if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would prolong your life, okay? And a time will come where a female, فإن طالت بك حياة لترين الضعينة. You will see a female, a woman, traveling by herself from Al-Hira to do tawaf to Al-Kaaba, and she will fear none but Allah. Yani time will come where this road from Al-Hira to Al-Kaaba is how long? No, at that time, not our time. Now it's what, 2 hours flight? Huh? Few weeks. He'll say, and this road is very dangerous because there are thieves, there are criminals, there are people who rob, there's a lot of problems. Rasulullah said the time will come where people will be traveling in full security and safety. Khalas, things will settle that a woman will travel. Now, I need to stop here for a second. What can we take from this? A fiqh perspective, yes. Can a woman travel without a mahram? Hold on. See, this hadith is a great evidence. According to majority of the ulama, a woman should not travel without a mahram if she's traveling for a day and a night. That's how long? No. 36 hours. A day, that's 24 hours. And then a night, that's 12 hours. So 36 hours. If a woman is traveling, which most of you are, because you came from out of Davis. Now, Rasulullah ﷺ said, لا يحل لامرأة تؤمن بالله. It is not permissible for a female who believes in Allah to travel for a day and a night without a mahram. And a mahram is a male from her family, like her father, her brother, her uncle, her husband, okay, her son. Now, this is problematic. This hadith is actually a great evidence for the scholars who says she can. Why? Because Rasulullah ﷺ is praising a time where he said, there's a time that will come where a female, a woman, will travel by herself from where? Hira, Iraq, all the way to Mecca without, he didn't mention a mahram, he didn't say a mahram, alone, fearing none but Allah. From this hadith, the ulama, subhanAllah, that's how the ulama thinks. They say, hold on. This hadith is actually evidence for us, not for you guys, who says it's allowed. Why? Because Rasulullah said to Mecca to do tawaf. So we would only allow for women to travel without a mahram if there is safety or security for her, if she's going to make Hajj or Umrah. But other than that, there is no need or a necessity because of this hadith. Well, the hadith was not talking about making tawaf. The hadith was talking about a woman traveling, feeling safe. So what do the ulama say from here? If a woman is traveling in safety. So if a sister is coming from LA to Davis, that's more than a day and a night. Yeah, you should not say, well, now it's 45 minutes by the plane. That's not how it's calculated. But can she travel? Even if there is no necessity, there is no need. As long as her travel is halal. She's not going to Vegas, for example. You know what people do in Vegas? No? Okay. That's a clear lie. In the masjid, in the house of Allah. You don't know what happened? Okay, this guy's from Germany. You don't know what happened in Vegas? There you go. ماشي ماشي. خلاص, let's skip that. Let's skip that. Huh? دعوة يا إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله. يعني كذب بين. This is a clear lies in the masjid. We are okay. So if you're going to da'wah in Vegas, it is more than a day and a night. Okay? Can she travel? This is the thing. Rasulullah ﷺ is praising what? What's the condition here? Why is a woman not allowed to travel? The ulama says that there is a reason. If there is no reason, then it's haram. Khalas, she cannot travel. If she travels from LA to here, she doesn't need a mahram to stay with her. She needs a mahram during what? Her travel period. Khalas? طيب. If she's going from here to Egypt or to Jordan or to Afghanistan or Pakistan or India or whatever the country, it is more than a day and a night for sure, even in a plane now, okay? So can she travel alone? Well, according to this hadith, she can. Because now the plane is the safest. Is she going with a group? Because the ulama says she has to be in a group. She doesn't need a group when she's in a plane. She has a plane ticket where you could see and follow. You know where she's going to stop. The plane has cameras all over. The airports are safe. Like there is more safety of our time than other times. So the ulama took from this hadith that it's permissible for a female, for a woman, to travel by herself without a mahram if her travel is safe and halal. Yani if she's traveling for something, for a reason. Okay? So it is permissible? It is permissible. وهذا الله أعلم of our time, it does make more sense. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to send his wives and his daughters to Umrah with the Sahaba. And they're not mahram for them. The wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make Hajj and Umrah. And they don't, well, people could argue that they are the mothers of the believers and all of that. But the reasoning of the hadith, this is something you need to learn, especially when people argue. If there is a reason behind the ruling, then we follow the existence of the reason or the non-exist. If the reason exists, then the rule exists. So what is the reason that Rasulullah ﷺ said a woman should not travel without a mahram? From the ahadith, from what we see from the hadith, is safety. طيب, the question is safety fulfilled nowadays for a female to travel even for more than a day and a night? Yes? Yes. لأنه airlines, airplanes, the airport, and there's always groups that are traveling. There's 400 people on the plane or even more sometime. So there is safety. So they took from that hadith that inshallah it is permissible for her to do so. Yani it's better to travel with a mahram. Again, it is better to travel with a mahram. But to be very realistic nowadays, to a lot of sisters, that's not even possible. Okay? طيب. Any question on that before we move on? Okay. Number 13, ظهور نار من الحجاز. Fire that appears in Hijaz, which is Medina. The Prophet ﷺ, this is something that happened in year 654 Hijri. So we're talking about 600, what? How many years after Rasulullah? This took place 654. Rasulullah died year what? 10, 11. So we're talking about 640 some, okay, 40 some years after his death, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا تقوم الساعة. That the last hour would not take place. حتى تخرج نار من أرض الحجاز. Till fire comes out, emerged from the land of Hijaz, which is Mecca or Medina. تضيء لها أعناق الإبل, which will illuminate the necks of the camels in Busra. That's a city in Damascus. Okay? What happened? The word fire means volcano. But the word volcano in Arabic is what? Huh? Burkan, which is the same. The word Burkan came from the Italian language, which is volcano, like volcano in English. So the Arab used the word Burkan. There was no such a word in Arabic that is used for volcano except fire. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said there will be a great volcano. There is fire that is going to take place in Hijaz, Mecca or Medina. Okay? This fire would illuminate, would light all the way from here to Damascus, to Asham. That the necks of the camels, meaning that when people look at their camels, they could see light. So the fire the light of the fire is huge. And this happened in year 654. Abu Shama al-Maqdisi, alayhi rahmatullah, he died like 11 years after this incident. He was living at that time, he's a historian. And he said, when the news came to him in Damascus, there is a lot of people who were talking about that fire, that they witnessed it with their own eyes, they seen it. What happened? Ibn Kathir also mentioned that this fire started on the 5th of Jamad al-Akhirah in Medina, about exactly, you're talking about, from Medina to Busra, 985 kilo. That's how many miles? Almost 600 miles. So you could imagine how big that fire was. Okay? So what happened? First, it started with earthquake. They used to count in Medina, this is day 1, which is Wednesday, on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they used to count 11 to 14 earthquakes per day. That the people of Medina got so scared, they had to run to the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Day 5, they saw in Al-Hirra. Al-Hirra is actually, if you go to Medina, in the plain, when you go visit Medina, you could still see it till today. There is a little mountain, there is about less than 12 miles or so from the downtown of Medina. Okay, so it's very close to the Masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see it in the plain. It's like it's a little mountain that is completely dark. What happened? This mountain started with some fire, like a volcano starting up. Okay, and then it will go on to the sky as smoke, and then it will return as fire. Then there will be little rocks that are firing up, flying up and down. So people of Medina, when they saw this happening, they could see the light from their homes. They got very scared. the houses of Medina, and there is actual picture of it. If you look at it, it still looks that dark today. You could see it in Medina when you go and visit. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said that this fire will come out, and subhanallah, what was surprising when I was reading the hadith of the incident, that even the leader of Medina wrote a letter. And he wrote a letter to one of the historians who later on, Jamaluddin al-Matri, alayhi rahmatullah, he said, I got a letter from someone, a friend who lived there, who witnessed that. He said, we all came out. Some people freed their slaves. Some people gave out sadaqah. Some people gave out zakah. People were praying all night. People were, because this volcano took this volcano was for about 3 months. So you could imagine 3 months fire coming out, and this is not the fire that Rasulullah said, because we're going to learn later, inshallah, in the major signs, that in the Day of Judgment there is fire that is going to come out from the deepest, largest volcano in Aden, which is in Yemen. That fire is going to come out and it's going to push all of us to the land of resurrection. That's a different fire. Now this fire, Rasulullah said, it is less than that fire. It was, I think it was about was about 12 kilo from Medina or so. So he said, when we came out, okay, no one لم يسمع في المدينة صوت دف ولا غناء ولا شرب. This one shocked me a little bit. We did not, everybody stopped singing, playing music, dancing, and drinking. People were doing what in Medina? Drinking. That one was shocking. What's the problem with that? The problem here that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, when evil spread, all fitan will start. So what did they do? They said they all repented. The people of Medina for 3 months, they all repented from every haram. Even drinking, that's... And they ran to the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to seek protection. This fire did not have any burning senses to it. So if you came closer to the volcano, even if the fire is going up and you see it, it will come down, it has no heat. So it did not have any burning sensation. That's one. Two, the light is used to illuminate all the way to Busra, which is Damascus, Ash-Sham. We're talking about 600 miles. That the people will be sitting down in the desert, their camels will be standing, they will see light on their camels. To a point that the people of Mecca is how far from Medina? About 400 kilo. That the people of Mecca used to write letters at night and they used to study on the light that came from Medina. Because of that light, you could imagine how huge the light is. And that's how Rasulullah ﷺ described it exactly. Number three, there was full 3 months of eclipse. Both, the solar eclipse and the moon eclipse, both. Number four, this fire would only burn if it would fall on rocks, but not trees. Why is that? Anybody know? Because the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade for people to cut the trees of Medina or to use the trees of Medina. So subhanallah, so the fire would fall upon a tree, it would not burn the tree. But if this fire would fall upon a rock, it will melt the rock. But if you come closer to it, it has no heat. So this was a miracle. This was like a miraculous fire that does not work like every volcano fire that we see of our time today. So that's another sign. No, not at all. But the volcano was scary because the way that the volcano started, it started with thunders, okay? Thunders from the skies, earthquakes. I'm telling you, they used to count from 11 to 14 earthquakes a day. So you could imagine the fear that the people of Medina had of that time, that they thought, khalas, the day of judgment will start. That's it. This is a sign that the day of judgment will start. Number 14. Okay, let's take. We'll skip 14. Just remember that. Please remind me, because inshallah next week. Number 14 is the Mongolian invasion of Muslims, which was known to be a Tatar, and that needs some time. So I'm going to skip that because I'm going to talk about the historical event from beginning to end, inshallah, and how they invaded all the way from China, Russia. They came to the Soviet, Afghanistan, then they moved to the Arab. At that time, there was the Abbasi, end of the Abbasi Khilafah. We're going to speak about that, inshallah. Number 15, ظهور رجال ظلمة يضربون الناس بالسياط. This also happened already. Appearance of unjust men who beats people with, like they whip them. And this took place. There's always people who are unjust, and they used to walk in the streets. They'll take people, they'll just slash them in front of everybody. 100 whip, 200. And this Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, صنفان من أمتي لم أرهما. The two groups of my people that I did not see. And this hadith is between brothers and sisters. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, two people that I did not see, meaning in hellfire. Because Rasulullah sallam, he saw people of fire. He saw people who were tortured because of what? No, his people. People who used to take the money of the orphans. He saw people who were getting punished because of interest. He saw people who were backbiting. What happens to them in fire? So Rasulullah saw those groups, these people. He saw people who used to, they would smack their head in hellfire till they break